Bass player for Muse is on the phone, and I'm so happy to say that I work in a job where the bass player for Muse, one of the most incredible and talented bands on the planet, just randomly calls up, but that is what happens. Christopher?
Hi, how you doing?
What's happening, man?
Yeah, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You guys are amidst a massive tour.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what it means to be on tour with Muse, because you're not the average kind of, bridge, chorus, bridge, verse rock band. You guys have a pretty big sound, and it's pretty well layered, but you do a very good job of translating it to the stage. How hard is it for you as a band to do so?
I think over the years it's become more difficult. I think in the early days when we first started, we were very much just a guitar band, influenced by other three-piece rock bands like Nirvana and that kind of thing. So I think it was a lot easier in the early days. I think obviously as time has gone on, we've got more experiments in the studio and tried to expand into different genres of music. And obviously when you do that and you go outside the sort of world of just playing guitar all the time, then it becomes much more difficult to translate it to the stage. But, it's kind of fun, it's challenging, and it's, with each album we've done, we've kind of had to conquer a whole new set of problems in order to sort of get the music to work live. But, we enjoy that. And, obviously being on stage, I think, is what this band is all about. It's the part of being in a band that we enjoy the most, and we always have. So, we love it. We still love playing live. Obviously as the crowds are getting bigger, we enjoy the gigs more. So
You're a kind of a mystery to a lot of American fans. You've been successful and popular overseas a little bit longer than you have here in the U.S. Give us some kind of background on the start of Muse.
Well, we're basically a school band. We started off when we were 15 years old. There was quite a lot of bands that, in the early 90s that were popping up in our school. I think bands like Nirvana and Smashing Pumpkins and Rage Against the Machine were big at the time. So there was kind of, and before that, British music was all about rave and dance music. So, when the sort of guitar, particularly the American guitar movement of the early 90s started coming over to England, I think it influenced a lot of people and kind of inspired a lot of people to get in bands, and that's what we did. When we, I think we were in sort of the, 10th grade of high school or 11th grade of high school. That was when we first started playing in bands and doing gigs. We were only doing small gigs to all of our school friends, but we quickly got a taste for playing live and realised it was something we wanted to pursue, and that was kind of how it all started really at school.
Right. And you were mentioning the kind of guitar-based rock of the early to mid 90s, and kind of coincidentally, I was talking to Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails this morning. He was on the other show that I work for, the Kevin and Bean Show here in Los Angeles, and he was telling us how much he appreciated your band, how much he admired your band, and Muse is a strange act in that most rock bands nowadays either are commercially successful or they're artistically appreciated. You guys seem to both have artistic and commercial success. What do you think that is? I mean, every band I talk to, regardless of the genre, seems to really love Muse.
Well, I think that behind any music that you have, most music that's commercially successful is all about having a good chord structure and having a good melody. And no matter how experimental you want to be, if you've got those sort of fundamental basics, then I think people will find the music appealing, once you've got those basics of a good melody that someone can latch onto, you can take the music into many different areas and be as experimental as you want, but I think, we've always felt that it's important to sort of retain that element that it is still a song, and it's not just about being a demonstration, which I think, there are some bands out that are more, all about showing how good they are on their instruments and being very, very experimental and kind of forget that, a lot of people just want to have a song to sing along to.
Sure.
So I guess, we've always tried to sort of retain a bit of both elements, really. And I think because of that, it appeals to a broader range of people. The people that really like the experimental, weird stuff are kind of into the band, and then there's the people out there that, just like to have a good sing-along like us as well. So, I guess that's why.
No, it makes a lot of sense. You're walking that fine line between being, virtuosos and being songwriters, and you guys do it very well. We're talking to Christopher Wolstenholme. Did I say that properly, sir?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Bass player for the band Muse. Muse.mu is the official website. You can find out about the massive tour that they are on right now. And I have to tell you, as someone who has seen you guys live many times, no matter how much you love Muse records, you have to see them live to truly capture just how excellent this band is. Tomorrow night they will be in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, and it goes into Denver, Minneapolis, and all over the United States. Again, that website is muse.mu. Who is the principal songwriter in the band, or is it kind of a team effort?
Matt always writes the songs, so far. But, quite often when Matt's writing, sometimes he'll have a very rough idea and he'll bring it to the studio and he'll be kind of looking for some guidance from me and Dom, particularly when it comes to, drum parts or bass parts or just general vibes of songs. And then, there are other songs like, the three-part symphony we did on the last album where I think Matt had a very, very clear picture in his head of where he wanted the song to go, and me and Dom obviously just had to kind of be patient and kind of go with it, So, obviously, the main sort of ideas from the songs come from him, but, when we're in the studio, it's very much a team effort. We're all sort of in the studio together and, we're all very open to putting ideas in and, just trying as many different things on a song as we can,
Around the middle of this last decade is when you guys really started to get worldwide recognition, around the time of Absolution being released. But now going on tour has to be a totally different type of endeavor, being that you're so well known. Has it been different going on the road now that you're, a headlining big act?
I think it is, yeah. I mean, I think there's obviously a lot more pressure because you're playing to more people, I guess in the early days, you're playing in small clubs and, you'd do the gig and then you'd go and have a drink at the bar, It was that kind of vibe where, I think, obviously as you do the arenas, there becomes a bit more of a separation between the crowd and the band, and it's not as if you can just come off stage and walk up to the bar and go and have a beer with some fans, That's the main difference, and I think that, I guess it's the one thing is maybe a little bit negative about, when a band does get bigger, is that you don't have that connection with the fans as much as you did when you played in a smaller place. But obviously, that gets replaced with something completely different. The fact that you can go out and play to however many thousands of people it is on the night is a great feeling.
Right. I mean, you do sacrifice that intimacy, but at the same time, think about how many more millions of people are going to be exposed to Muse's music.
Exactly, yeah, and I think that's always been the aim. I think any band would be lying if they said they didn't want to be the biggest band in the world. I think there's a lot of bands that kind of pretend they don't want to be, but I think that's everyone's aim really when they're in a band. They want as many people to to listen to their music as possible. If you didn't, you just sit at home and sing to yourself in front of the mirror,
Right. We are talking to Christopher Wolstenholme.